Hello everyone, hello family, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Ruth Tips. This channel, as the name implies, is all about giving out professional healthy tips to help us live a healthy lifestyle, we and our family, and to help us to boost our immunity. So if you are not subscribed to this channel, please support us by subscribing, hitting that red subscribe button and hit the notification bell, so whenever I have other healthy tips to share, you'll be the first to be notified. So thank you for being here. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate. So what I want to talk about today is vaccine with breastfeeding. The COVID-19 vaccine with breastfeeding. I've talked about the side effects of COVID-19 vaccine before, the benefit, the importance of it, and I've shared experiences and which I have taken my own vaccine. So that's why this video is not to scare you. It's not to scare you from taking the vaccine. It's not to make you change your mind. It's just to encourage you, to tell you what you have, what you will see, or what you might see, because not everybody that have the same experiences. Like the normal side effects of this COVID-19 vaccine I've done in my previous video. You can go check it out and watch it. Some of the side effects are muscle pain, joint ache, the soreness at the or swollenness at the injection site. You have your fever, which might be above 37.8 degrees centigrade. So these are the normal general side effects. While some people also present with different side effects, so it depends on individual. While there are some people, some that don't even present with any symptoms at all. So this is not just to scare you, but most of these researches have been done and people have been taking it. I know the range now is the people that are breastfeeding. They've been encouraged. People that are pregnant are encouraged not to take it, some to take it, then breastfeeding. So I'm going to be sharing my experience today because I have a year old plus age that I'm breastfeeding and I took my vaccine. But before I took my vaccine, they made me consent to it. For instance, they gave me this leaflet which reads, all women of childbearing age, those currently pregnant or breastfeeding. So this is a guide to COVID-19 vaccination for all women of childbearing age, those currently pregnant or breastfeeding. So there's a write-up concerning those that are pregnant here. So that wasn't my experience because I wasn't pregnant. So my own was the breastfeeding. So I'm going to be reading it to you. This is it. And it said, the one that concerns me from my experience, said there are no data on the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in breastfeeding. Meaning there are no data concerning it. There's no research done on the safety of COVID-19 vaccine in breastfeeding or on the breastfed infants. So despite this, COVID-19 vaccines are not thought to be a risk to the breastfeeding infant, and the benefits of breastfeeding are well known. So because of this, the JCVI has recommended that the vaccine can be received whilst breastfeeding. This is in line with recommendations in the USA, United States of America, and from the World Health Organizations. They now go down and I say, what does this mean for me? This leaflet that I just read, I'll read it again for breastfeeding. It said there are no data on the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in breastfeeding or on the breastfed infant. Despite this, COVID-19 vaccines are not thought to be a risk to the breastfeeding infant, and the benefits of breastfeeding are well known. Because of this, the JCVI has recommended that vaccine can be received while breastfeeding. This is in line with the recommendations in the USA and from the World Health Organization. Then now goes down and say, what does this mean for me? This means that here are the key points you should consider before taking this vaccine if you are breastfeeding or if you are pregnant. Say, one, if you are pregnant, you should not be vaccinated unless you are at high risk. You can be vaccinated after your pregnancy is over. Then the second point is also for the pregnant ones. Then the last paragraph, you say this, the second paragraph for also point is for the breastfeeding. So in my own experience, it wasn't breastfeeding. So I'll go to the one that concerns breastfeeding, and that's what this video is all about today. So if you are breastfeeding, you may decide to wait until you have finished breastfeeding and then have the vaccination. Vaccination helping to protect those most vulnerable. I read it again. If you are breastfeeding, you may decide to wait until you have finished breastfeeding and then have the vaccination. This leaflet was given to me and I consented to take the vaccine even though I was breastfeeding, because I was so sure of myself. I was 100% positive that I wasn't going to show any symptoms at all. In my case, the reverse was the case. So as a breastfeeding mother, after I took the vaccine, the first day I was okay. I was perfectly okay. So I didn't even need to take my paracetamol that I was advised to take. So I was okay. The next day, as in the early hours of the next day, I started feeling temperature, and it was if I was feeling this tingliness, as in a mild headache, I'll call it. But the one that surprised me is that my baby normally wakes up at night to suck. So in the middle of the night, when he woke up to suck, he would put his mouth to suck, and he would refuse to suck. It was very, very strange of him, because he's a breast. I used to call him breasting, of course. He sucks very well. But after a night after this vaccine, he would put his breast to suck, and he would stop. He would not suck. He would just roll over the other side and start crying. He would try again because he needs it. That's the only thing he takes at night. So he needs it. He would suck. I was like, this is not normal. Before, I was not able to remember that this is because of the vaccine that I took. So I'm very sure the vaccine changed the taste of my breast milk. So that is why my baby could not suck as normal. So as he tried to suck, and before that midnight, so the vaccine must have got it to my breast, and he must have sucked it already. My baby started running temperature. He was running temperature, he was crying, he was restless. Even his temperature was more than mine. So I was confused. I didn't know what to do. I just had to be very hopeful. I checked the body. I took off some of his clothes. The first aid nursing care that I could give. I gave water. I took off his clothes. I gave paracetamol. So he was still restless. He wasn't sucking. He put his mouth to suck. He would maybe want to suck. At this time, I was already tired. I was weak. I was tired. My temperature was skyrocketing, and I was just there watching my baby cry, and me too, I was weak. So that was my reaction to COVID-19 vaccine. So it was in the morning of it, before the paracetamol that I gave my baby started acting well, and the temperature was going down. Temperature was getting better, but he was still restless. He was still weak. I think the weakness that I was feeling too, he too was feeling it, because normally he runs around. He couldn't run around. He was just in my arms. Just want to stay in my arms. So I would advise, if you are breastfeeding and you are going for this vaccine, make sure you seek for help. Seek for help. If your husband will be going to work, maybe ask him to stay that day or two, or your relatives. So any help you can get, just ask for help, because you might need it. I was very weak, my body hot, and the baby that wants to stay close to me, I didn't know how I was able to care for him, because I was confused. I wasn't myself. My symptoms was really, I would say, really bad. I never felt that way, I think, all my life, I would say. So especially those that knows the symptoms of malaria, I would say it was like that. It was really that bad. So I was having headache, my body temperature was hot, I was weak, just lying down. I couldn't sit down, just lying down. The baby lying down on me. He too, he was weak, so he could not move. just play around with his siblings, his other brothers. He was just with me throughout that day. Even the next day, he was still weak. Till the third day that he started walking little by little, normally and acting normal, before everything just went away like that. So I make sure you have your Capol at home. If you are breastfeeding, make sure you have not just paracetamol for yourself. Make sure you have your Capol for your baby if you are breastfeeding, in case your baby is reacting to the COVID-19 vaccine. So no, COVID-19 vaccine is very important. It's to prevent us from getting COVID. So it's better we get prepared. Just not for us to say no, we're not going to take the vaccine. But this was my own experience. It is left for you also to make your own choice. As written in the book, it said in the leaflet, if you are breastfeeding, you may decide to wait until you have finished breastfeeding, then have the vaccination. In my case, I couldn't wait because I'm thinking of breastfeeding my baby to about 2 years and just a year plus. So I can't wait till. So I didn't even know that it was going to react that way. So thank God everything went well, and now it's back. We're back to normal. Everything is okay, and that's why I want to share this with you, because there are no very few information out there concerning COVID-19 vaccine and babies. Even written, they say there are no data on the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in breastfeeding or on the breastfed infants. So that's why I'm here to share my own experience. So thank you for watching. Please support this channel by subscribing. Just contribute your quota to the success of this channel. You know, it's about sharing healthy tips to help us live a healthy lifestyle and boost our immunity. So thank you so much for being here. See you at the top. Bye.